What's up, friends, and welcome back to another episode of the happiest hour on earth. I'm your host, Emily.
And I'm your other host, Chris.
And we're so excited that you are joining us for another episode. Tonight is going to be really fun because we are doing a Q&A. We had a whole bunch of our Instagram followers send in questions to us about any and everything. And we got some really good ones.
Yeah, we really did.
Great questions from you guys. So we're pumped to get into it. It's going to be a fun episode.
Yeah, there's so many questions and I can't wait to answer them all. They range from Disney to things we like to do outside of Disney. We got a lot of good ones. And so you'll learn a little bit more about us and just what we like to do. And major shout out to all of our listeners for sending in these questions, because these are some great questions.
Some really good ones. I'm pumped.
Yeah, same here. But before we get into this episode, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button, because we are on our way to 1,000 subs. So if you want to be a part of that, that would be absolutely amazing. And if you're listening on a podcasting platform, go ahead and click follow on there and rate us or write us a 5-star review. That would mean so much to us and it really helps out our show a lot. So thank you in advance for that. But with that, should we go ahead and jump into this episode?
Let's go. All right, so we are ready to jump into these questions. It's going to be very fun, very chatty. But before we do, can we give a quick moment to the hat on my head right now? If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. If you're not, go on YouTube and look. Because
you might have to zoom in a little bit because we are a little bit further, but it is
put my
beautiful.
Head right up to the camera right now, but you got to see it because what I'm wearing to Disney on Instagram, aka Nicole, makes some incredible hats. It's very underground. It's it's not easy to get these hats. Like she literally will just drop between 5 and 10 hats randomly. Like you don't know when it's going to happen. And they're always just
gone in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
or something.
5 minutes or under, they're gone. Like we got so lucky to snatch this one up.
Definitely go follow her page because she's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, she has
and
a
then
great
put on notifications. That's what I did. I put on notifications to make sure that I knew when she was posting them. And then we got this hat. We're gonna have to post a picture of it so you guys can see. It's just
if you can't see it super well, it's like a very vintage looking patch with monorail on it.
And the Matterhorn, yeah.
It
says 6 spectacular new adventures, Disneyland 59. So cool.
And it's just so amazing. So yeah, go follow her page. Thank you, Nicole, for making amazing hats and Disney content.
Yeah.
We love you.
For sure.
Thank you.
All right. So let's jump into these questions.
Let's do it. So our first question came from @Ryback Debbie, and she asked us, what Disney experience is on your bucket list? Cost is a non-issue. So if we could do anything Disney related and didn't have to worry about the cost involved, what would we do?
And we recently just hit 3 things off our bucket list, which is absolutely crazy.
Yep. 33 was definitely at the top of that list. And knocked that one out. So
I know that was a huge one. We never thought that it was actually going to happen. And so it's just the goal we always wanted to strive for, but probably knew that it was never going to happen. But thanks to the person we know for getting us in there. It was so amazing. We went to Club 33, 1901, which is definitely bucket list as well. And then we got to do a VIP Disney tour. So much fun. If you did not hear that episode, a little bit more about those experiences and our last trip, I'm going to pop it up here on YouTube, or you could just scroll back just a little bit and find that episode. But it still doesn't feel real. So
no, definitely not. It was for sure a dream come true.
Yeah.
But on top of what we have done already, those were bucket list things for sure. We have a few others, such as getting to visit the Walt Disney Studios.
Yeah.
Hopefully that could be something that is actually attainable.
Well,
I feel like
we are D23, the free members, and we could actually buy the tour to do that.
Yeah.
So I think we need to
we just gotta book it.
It's hard because I want to do a Disneyland trip, but then that's a ways away. Yeah. And so we might just have to go down there and do an LA trip. Mm-hmm. And then do that.
Do things along the way.
Yeah, because I think doing both would be just hard with kids. So we'll have to do it one day.
We will. We're going to make it happen for sure. But that would be one. Getting to see Walt's apartment.
Yeah.
Big bucket list item.
For sure.
Disney cruise. That is high up on my bucket list.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the amount of things that we have heard about it over the last couple of years, specifically from Market House, one of our great friends in the Disney podcasting community.
Yeah. Which we did an episode with them on our Disney cruise is worth the price. You should definitely go check out that episode. That was amazing.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
They definitely won us over to like it being worth it to do a Disney cruise. So once our kids are a little bit older, I think we're just going to have to like save up for it because I want them to be able to enjoy it too. And they're both pretty small right now.
For sure.
Definitely want to make that happen.
Yeah.
But last but not least, we would love to be able to do 21 Royal with some pals one day.
Yeah, because I think you could go up to like 10 people or 15. Yeah. And then you split the cost and it's still real. I think it's still about $1,000 a person, which is a very expensive dinner. But being able to have your own private experience, 21 Royal, if you don't know, is above Pirates of the Caribbean. It used to be the Disney Dream Suite, right? Which my sister's actually been into before it was 21 Royal.
I interviewed Danny Elfman in there, actually.
Yeah.
Crazy. She's a DJ,
radio host, DJ, and voiceover person.
And she would get sent there to do gigs like that back in the day. And she got to just like be in there interviewing the man who wrote all the songs.
Nightmare and more. Yeah. And so we would love to see the renovated 21 Royal though. That sounds amazing. And just like sitting there and enjoying your time with friends would be so fun.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I would add on one more personally. I would love to be able to go to Aulani one day.
Yes, that'd be amazing.
I'm so all about Hawaii in general. And obviously I'm all about Disney. So combining the two is right up my alley.
Oh, for sure. And speaking of Hawaii, we have another question from @Jordan the Park Hopper. She says, what's something going on in your lives outside of Disney stuff that you're excited about? And do you want to hit us up here?
Well, I guess so. We can both talk about it. But yeah, on that note, we are heading to Hawaii in a couple months.
Yeah.
Which is going to be the first time since 2019. We were in Maui last. That's the only island we've been to yet, but we are going to Kauai for the first time. It's going to be celebrating our anniversary and our second child's birthday, his first birthday. So very exciting trip. Going to be wild going with our two kids, our two boys.
A little stressed out.
They've never flown before. So that's going to be very interesting. If you got tips on flying with a 4-year-old and a basically 1-year-old, send them our way because we're intimidated.
Yeah, just 5 hours of stress and then we're there. So
really should have done a different flight beforehand, a shorter one, like down to Disneyland, for instance, but that never happened. So
I know that's going to be a little crazy, but we were planning on going to Kauai for our baby moon, for our first child. However, the pandy,
literally the day before we were supposed to leave for that trip.
They're like,
when we got
no one could travel. And so that's what happened. And then, now we're finally going back. Love Maui so much, but really excited to check out Kauai. So that'll be a really good time for sure.
Yeah. And we are bringing my parents with us and they love Kauai and they will be also built-in babysitters and just helpers on the flight as well. So that part will help. Yeah. But it's going to be a fun and crazy trip.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I'm very excited about it.
But next up, we hear from actually two people because they had the same questions. We heard from @CountryCritters and @RoxLehman, and they said, what announcement are you most hoping for at D23? This is a really exciting D23 because Disneyland Forward got approved. And then also, while Disney World's doing a lot of stuff, also Disneyland's 70th anniversary is happening next year. So they're probably going to be talking about the plans for the anniversary, which is going to be really, really cool. So a lot of Disneyland stuff, anything Disneyland Forward, because this is the first like expansion we've had in so long. So anything that talks about what will be there, I have a feeling that they'll just do the whole, this is what could be there. I would love if they had concrete plans, like these are the new areas that we're going to start working on right now. So that I'm really excited for. And then also on the Disney World side, there's so much happening over there, but the thing I'm most excited about is the Villains Land in Magic Kingdom. So that I'm going to be really, really interested in.
To hear about.
I would love to get like actual details about like rides and like, you know, what else they're going to have there. That makes me giddy just thinking about it, because I love the Disney villains. And finally being in a Disney park, it's going to be awesome.
So good. So good. I'm really hoping that there are like solid plans that we can believe are truly happening, because sometimes I feel like we can be a little bit like unsure if it's true or not.
Yeah, the last D23 was all like, this is what could be. And this could be. And I'm like, just tell us. Just tell us.
Please decide what you're doing so we can be excited.
For sure.
But moving on, we got a question from @Plan Disney with Jill, who's amazing. We did an episode with her a while back now.
Yeah.
She's
a lot of great Walt Disney World tips. So definitely check that out.
Tips. She's amazing. But her question was, what's your favorite and least favorite attraction in both Disneyland parks? So you want to go first? Yeah,
I'll go first. Okay, so favorite at Disneyland is and I'm actually wearing the Park Up Tees shirt, Indiana Jones. That has always been a favorite of mine. I love Space Mountain so much too, and there's certain times where I'll get off of Space Mountain and I'm like, is that my favorite ride? Because it's so fun and it's so, I don't know, I just love the wind blowing in your hair. Our Space Mountain is so amazing. But then I go in Indiana Jones and I'm like, the theming from the queue to the actual ride itself, it's just Imagineering at its best. So that's my favorite. And then my least favorite in Disneyland, they're all great. But I'm going to have to go Finding Nemo subs. I love the water there. However, it's my least favorite because I don't like being in the sub super close to everyone, face super close, like resting your chin on where everyone else is resting their chin. I think after 2020, this became my least favorite ride. Yeah. And it's warm. If someone accidentally lets out a little dude, I've been in there, and then you're just stuck in there for like 15 minutes. So that's rough.
I mean, I can hope that would just kind of fade after a minute, but
it does not. No.
Not much ventilation.
Yeah, no, it's rough. Do you want to do your Disneyland? Then we'll go to California.
Okay, then we'll both jump to California Adventure. Okay. Favorite in Disneyland is always going to be Pirates of the Caribbean for me.
Classic.
It is iconic. It's been around forever. And knowing that Walt like walked that ride and had a hand in it will always make it super special to me. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's just like quintessential Disneyland to me.
For sure.
Love it so much. Least favorite. I didn't write down my answer, so I'm kind of just off the cuff right now. Least favorite. I would have to say probably like Mr. Toad. I guess.
That's going to hurt some people.
I'm sorry if it hurts, but it's definitely not one that I'm ever like bummed to miss. Like, I don't think we ever like make a concerted effort to go on it.
Yeah.
I
think our son the other time was like, oh, it's the car ride. Like, let's go on it. I was like, I don't want you to have bad dreams of the big green dragon thing at the end.
I mean, I don't think he would. I think he would be okay. He's been on worse, but yeah, it's not my favorite. There's definitely way better Fantasyland rides in general. And yeah, it's not a fave.
Yeah.
But
I find it fun, but yeah, I don't mind
it is
if nostalgic. I don't miss it.
Yeah. Like you go on it and you're like, oh, this feels like old school Fantasyland ride.
The best part about that ride is that the original movie, you don't die and you don't go to hell.
They just decided it should happen.
The ride, they're like, this is a great idea.
Everyone will love it.
And we'll end it right then. And it's absolutely wild. So, but let's jump over to California Adventure.
All right.
My favorite ride at California Adventure. I don't know why I said it so weird like that. My favorite ride is Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. So incredible.
Choice.
And then my least favorite ride is probably going to have to be Inside Out Emotional Whirlwind, because Inside Out deserves better than a rethemed Flick Flyers ride from A Bug's Land. Inside Out it's really inching up to be my favorite like Pixar franchise. However, Toy Story will always win out, but Inside Out 2 was so good. But yes, we do need like a dark ride Inside Out, because it deserves more. So just a little,
something better than just like a reskinned ride.
Yeah, there you go. It's just Dumbo, you know. But
sad.
How about yours?
My favorite in California Adventure, I'm stuck because I have two that are like kind of neck and neck favorites.
I know one of them, probably. One of them's starts like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm going to say that's my favorite in California Adventure. I would say Soarin' is my favorite. It's the one that I get like the most excited to go on for some reason.
Yeah.
In California Adventure.
That is such a big staple.
Yeah.
Such an amazing ride system.
Radiator Springs.
Oh my. How did I forget Radiator Springs?
That one's definitely like.
Oh my gosh.
It inches close. I don't know. I have a hard time choosing between those. And I love Mission Breakout as well, but.
That's kind of like the trifecta. Like those three rides.
Those are definitely incredible. The faves. But something about Soarin', just like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about that ride, but it does
makes you feel, oh my gosh, just swinging your little legs.
That huge building, and like you go in there and you feel cooled off, and like the music in that ride.
It's so amazing.
It's so good. And that really like impacts my overall decision. I think I love when a ride has great music.
For sure.
Least favorite. Probably Pixar Pal Around.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a scary one. Yeah. The swinging gondolas. Ooh, yeah.
Swinging ones are definitely a no-go for me, but in general,
I don't like going up that high. Yeah.
We've done it. We have once or twice, I guess, but it's definitely not like, I don't know.
I feel like we need it because I love because it completes the whole like facade as you're,
it's the
looking
photo
out.
spot.
It's the photo spot. But yeah, riding it, no.
No,
I'm fine.
I'm
fine. Yeah. So next one, is this me?
This is you.
Okay. We heard from @LiveLearnDreamMagic, and she said, "What is your favorite non-Disney thing to do?" I guess we could do things together and also like separate things. Me personally, I love anything to do with music. I've been playing drums for a very long time. I have my kit set up in the garage, but I just haven't played in a little bit because we've just been I know we've been so busy and everything, but anything to do with music. So like concerts, and we hadn't been to a concert since pre-2020. But then last month we went to one for my birthday. And then like we mentioned, last week on Friday, we went to another one. So now I think we're finally back in the concert going mood. Last week was absolutely amazing. If you didn't know where we came from, the crazy music scene. So I was doing a little moshing. I was doing a little crowd surfing. Mm-hmm. You might not have seen the video that we posted on our story. It shouldn't live permanently on our page, but I wanted to do it for 24 hours. So much fun.
Little glimpse into who Christopher over here is outside of the Disney world.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a crowd surfing maniac.
I'm a slower version of my previous self though. Yeah. I definitely,
aren't we all?
Yeah. It really took a lot out of me, but it was so much fun. So that was great. And then, the other one we had here was like traveling together, which we hadn't done really since we had kids besides Disneyland. Before we had kids, we've done like 6 countries in Europe, 6 or 7, went to Mexico. We did go to Mexico after our son was born. And then now we're finally going to Kauai. But yeah, traveling is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. We had done a couple of Europe trips pre-parenthood. Yeah. And those were definitely some special memories. It would be very hard to do now with our littles. Yeah. But we do hope to go back to Europe again or, somewhere overseas again after our kids are a little bit older. Yeah. So we'll see. For sure. And when that can happen.
Yeah. How about you? You personally?
Oh yeah, I guess that's you kind of said like personal, but it also kind of blended
Yeah.
into us together. So those were both kind of things that we both love to do. Personally, I mean, geez, I'm an adult, I'm a mom, like I don't have much hobby to talk about aside from sourdough baking. That has become my recent hobby. And just like cooking and baking in general, I've grown to enjoy a lot more than I used to. I got inspired at some point, and now it's just like something that I genuinely enjoy doing. I like to do it with my son a lot of the time. He's my little like helper in the kitchen. He's turning 4 now, so it's kind of just like our fun little bonding thing that we do together. That's definitely the main thing. I don't.
Yeah,
really
I'm
have
surprised
much.
every time I get to eat a meal from you. It is so good.
I'm really not.
She
that
started
good.
following
He's easy
what's
to
it?
please.
Half-Baked
Half-Baked
Harvest
was my like inspiration. I discovered her on Instagram like a couple years ago.
And I'm so glad you did. Your food was always amazing, but oh my gosh, there's
definitely am
so
like
many fun recipes that you've made. And
I was so bored
so
with
good.
cooking. Like dinner was just like the same stuff every week. And then I finally found that page and I was like, okay, I can do this. I can make these things.
Yeah.
And it just became really fun. So
And your
that's-
sourdough is amazing too.
Yeah,
That's another
sourdough.
hobby of mine, just eating your sourdough.
yeah,
So good.
All of us, that's our hobby. The problem with it is how quickly a loaf goes. I need to start making more than one loaf at a time, I think, because it's gone in like 2 days when I make it. So yeah, it's very fun. It's very, very fun. Aside from that, not a lot else. I'm a mom, so I'm with my kids a lot. I'm back to working out. That's one thing. We both have been getting back into the workout.
We
game.
started, we got a little, what's it called? I forgot what they
Punching
call it,
bag.
like a punching bag, but yeah, they call it like a heavy bag or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So like, you know, one of the, not the fast one, the speed boxing, but just a punching bag. Mm-hmm. Put on some music and just go for it. It's been really fun. Yeah.
Gets the heart pumping, and we got some like mats out in the garage so we can do more stuff like on the ground, and it's been good. It's felt good to get back into it because we had definitely I at least had definitely been on a slump.
Me too. Yeah.
Since like being pregnant and then having our second kid, it was hard to like get myself back into like exercise mode. But it does feel great to be.
Yeah, it's a fun daily hobby now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels good. Okay. So next question comes from @LuluB Buzz and Memories, who is a longtime friend and follower. So her question is, your top 2 hotels near Disney you would highly recommend. I would like to do a staycation. We have stayed in quite a few at this point. We are not exactly the type that have our spot that we go every single time.
We pretty much switch every time.
We've switched basically every time, but there's a lot of good ones.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of not so great ones, but we have definitely discovered a few favorites over the last couple of trips, I would say. Definitely Hotel Lulu. That's where we stayed most recently. They actually sponsored part of our stay there, which was incredible.
Yeah.
And we had stayed there one time previously. So that one is definitely a favorite. Such a fun, like retro vintage vibe in there. Like it's like a boutique hotel. It's so cute. Has a pool and like fun games to do outside, like fire pits, a restaurant and bar. And it's just a great hotel. It's like a 10-minute walk to the park.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of our
I think that's going to be,
favorites.
one of our go-tos because also the price is really good.
Yeah.
I don't know, obviously it always fluctuates, but I was looking at it, even though they sponsored part of our last trip. I was looking at the prices and I was like, this is really doable for
Incredibly
people
good.
who are on a budget. And the vibes are
So
great. And the
good.
room, I always slept great on those beds.
Yeah.
For sure. So
good.
yeah, that one's really great. We also really liked our stay at the Anaheim Hotel a while back. When we stayed there, we used like Southwest points to book the room. So I think they kind of like pushed us all the way to the back. And so I know there's updated
great
rooms. And so our room was good, a little bit cramped bathroom, like really small. I think other buildings have bigger spaces, but the grounds itself are
So
amazing.
good.
Yeah,
and
super.
literally almost right across the street from the Disneyland entrance. Like
Yeah.
prime spot.
Yeah.
Almost can't get any closer, I think.
And that's another like very retro vibes. A lot of fun things to do there too.
Yeah.
Also, the Pizza Press is a restaurant within that hotel, and it's really good.
So good. We ate there a couple times when we stayed. And I would definitely love to stay again. I kind of want to like check out another room because I love the grounds so much. I want to like kind of re-experience it, but with like a slightly better room because that part I was kind of like, that could have been better.
Yeah.
But I loved it. Aside
Very
from
mid-century,
those,
modern-y.
yes, it's like it feels like you're walking around like in Saving Mr. Banks.
Yes,
And
like
you've watched
old
that.
classic Disneyland. Yeah.
Like LA back in the day. Like it's so cute. But aside from that one, we have stayed at some of the more like chain hotels.
I think it was the DoubleTree.
Was it DoubleTree?
That was a little bit for like DoubleTree by Hilton or whatever.
Or Sheraton.
No, we did Sheraton before too. I mean, all those ones are great too. But DoubleTree, we had like a suite over there, further from the park, but close to Toy Story parking lot, so you could jump on the free shuttle there and go in. But that was great because we had the connected rooms with my parents, and we had the suite, which was super nice. So with kids, especially, we were able to like hang out in the front and then go into the room. But we've heard a lot of great things about other places too, like the Westin. Everyone talks about that, and we just haven't bitten the bullet and done it yet. But yeah, there's so many hotels there, and we kind of switch it up.
Would also love to stay at Candy Cane Inn one day. They've revamped a lot of it, and it looks so cute.
Yeah.
I've also heard good things about Tropicana.
What's the one? The park?
Grand Legacy at
the park or whatever.
Yeah. That's one that we're kind of looking at as well for, potentially another trip at some point. So there's so many options.
There's a lot.
I know we just listed off a ton.
And some we didn't even stay at. But Hotel Lulu and the Anaheim.
Yeah. Just like look into each one, I guess, and decide which one fits your vibe best and your wallet.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of good options.
So fun. Okay, so speaking on hotels, at Country Critters asked us, what is one Walt Disney World resort that you want to stay at?
Easy answer.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Polynesian.
For sure. But
we love all the tropical vibes. Yeah.
Yes.
And then
on top of that, definitely Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Ever since I was a kid and I heard that you could stay in a hotel where there's giraffes right outside your window, I wanted to stay there. Yeah. And then as I got older and loved all the Polynesian vibes, I was like, yes, we got to stay there. Plus I love Trader Sam's, and that's in that hotel. So we've gone to Trader Sam's there, but never stayed. Yeah. We highly enjoyed Port Orleans Riverside. We stayed in the royal rooms or whatever. Yeah. Loved our stay there. Really fun. I forgot what the bar was there. The restaurant with I can't remember. Bob something.
Yeah, he was so funny.
He was great. And then we even loved Pop Century. Pop Century was amazing. But yes, Polynesian and Animal Kingdom Lodge would be fantastic.
So great. And honestly, one of my weird kind of bucket list things that I would love to do is to stay at the cabins at Fort Wilderness.
Yes.
I don't know why, but the idea of staying in a nice cabin and feeling like I'm at camp, but at Disney World, it just sounds so prime. Yeah. To me,
that'd be so amazing.
I would love to do that one day as well. But pretty much any resort I would be 100% down for.
For sure. Now, speaking of staying, I guess still along these lines, we heard from I believe it is, because we got this comment on YouTube on our latest video, but it just said user something. But I earlier saw that it said Kelly. So I think it's K_LA, who is amazing. All these people, by the way. Oh my gosh. So you guys, huge supporters of the show, and we just can't thank you all enough for that. But I believe Kelly, she said, if you could vacation anywhere in the world, all expenses paid, where would you travel to with your family? This is a great question, and we put it in last minute because I forgot we had one on YouTube. So now this is just off the cuff. This is just I think I actually know.
Do you? Because we actually were talking about one the other day that I think was my choice.
Okay, wait, you say that first.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, there's so many. But we were talking to someone the other day, and I was like, yes, that's where I want to go. I would love to go to Greece.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, that'd be super fun.
I feel like I've always especially after seeing
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants too.
Yes, when she goes to Santorini, that has always been somewhere I've wanted to go and somewhere we have not gone yet.
Yeah, I think
from
that would be
that-
amazing. You're gonna say Amalfi Coast.
So yeah, somewhere on the coast.
Yeah, because that came in. The first one I was thinking was like the whole Switzerland or Austria, like the
Alps.
I don't know, the Alps. Yeah, that looks so beautiful. I keep seeing videos from it, and I'm like, that is
gorgeous.
I mean, it looks so beautiful. So probably somewhere there. Places we have gone. Our first time out of the country was London, Venice, and Malta. And then our second time was Paris, also Strasbourg in France, Croatia, and Ireland. And all those were so amazing too. And then we did Cabo too last year. Yeah. And that was such a fun trip too. So yeah, but I would love those places we mentioned. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah. I know, I'm trying to think where else. I'm always trying to think of where I would go overseas again.
New Zealand would be great, but I don't think I could do that long of a flight.
That would be a lot.
Yeah.
I would also just love to go back to England personally, because we were
countryside,
only in London. Yeah. We were in London for a day and that was it. And I would love to be able to like explore outside of the big city and see kind of more the countryside of England.
Yeah. Spain sounds cool too. I love how you just asked pretty much like one place, but we're just I just want to see the whole world.
Dream places. I would also love to visit Canada personally. I've always wanted to go, and I know
we could do a short weekend trip.
Yeah, like
I went for like
far.
a couple hours when I was a teenager
on the way to your cruise, your Alaskan cruise.
Yeah,
I've never been on a cruise, but I would love to go to Canada. I feel like there's so many beautiful places.
Yeah,
to see.
That'd be awesome.
So you got
cool. Yeah, a lot of answers there. But now we're gonna bring it back to California, and I asked the last question. Do you want to ask this one, and I could kind of expand on the answer? Yeah.
Okay. The question comes from @the_Fairy_Ear_Co, and they asked, "Would you change Avengers Campus?"
So. We're not the biggest fans of Avengers Campus in its current state. I think, it's fine.
Could be better though.
Yeah, it could be better. I think that with Disneyland Forward, well, they had been promising us that Avengers e-ticket attraction for a very long time. I don't like when they because they did this with Star Wars Land as well, Galaxy's Edge, where they opened up the land, but then they still have one ride that they're working on. And it's cool. Like, it's nice that you get to enjoy it earlier, but it's almost lackluster because because for this one, it's like we're building an Avengers ride, but then they open with just a Spider-Man Toy Story Midway Mania. And so I guess I wouldn't really change the theme, but I would add to it. So they need to build that Avengers ride. And then honestly, if they can with Disneyland Forward, build it out just a little bit more. I'm not really sure what the zoning is. I think it'd be really cool to do that. I would have loved like a Wakanda type thing, but I doubt anything like that would fit in that area. Plus the whole idea of Avengers Campus is it's supposed to be in California, like a little, a campus that they built there, even though their like main base is in New York or whatever. So they could definitely improve it in its current state. It's like, that's cool.
Yeah, we kind of just like walk through it. It's never somewhere we really spend a ton of time, which is sad because, Marvel's a very incredible,
property. Yeah,
that's the word.
And Mission Breakout is in there, but it doesn't feel like it is, you know? So
exactly.
It's change the layout a little bit.
Totally outside of it, but they definitely could do some things to improve on it because it just feels like very lackluster for like.
It feels like
Marvel
they mashed it into an existing land.
Yeah. And like we didn't spend a lot of time in Bugs Land, but it was like, it was cute. It was shaded. Like the theme was so good.
Yeah.
We didn't like go on any of the rides or anything. I'm not like sad that Avengers Campus replaced it at this point.
Especially with kids loving. I mean, I love Avengers too, but like,
our son
kids.
is growing to love everything. Spidey and Hulk and like lots of things Marvel character related. So I think he's going to love it as he grows up. That makes me appreciate that it's there. But I hope that over the years they do kind of amp it up a bit. It could use some help.
For sure.
I would say.
Yeah. All right. So we have a next one from Amy Eckstein. We've talked to you so many times, and I feel like to like Rox Lehman. I'm like, I hope I'm saying that right. Amy Eckstein. Teen.
Please,
I think it's always
I hope you will let us know if we've been saying your names correctly.
Yeah.
Because I would hate to be like saying that, and then every time you hear it,
you're like, oh my gosh, they just keep butchering it. But yeah, she asked, which congratulations to you getting married soon. That is so exciting. I'm so happy for you both. She asked wedding day tips / advice. Now I wrote my note here. I don't know if you saw it yet, but I think
we would,
this is something that is,
to say.
Yeah, this is like the biggest one that someone told us, and we always tell other people.
And we are 8 years in this year.
Yeah.
September is 8 years for us, which
crazy.
is absolutely insane, to be honest. I can't even believe that we're like inching up on a decade married.
I know.
Here we are. So we definitely have some ideas to throw at you for advice.
Yeah.
I don't mean to like jump in.
No, go for it. Yeah, no, steal it. Okay. Do it.
Whatever. I think the biggest thing that we would say as you lead up to your wedding day is live in that day. Do not worry about anything. You have done your part in planning. You've paid the bills. You've done what you needed to do to plan that day. So that day, just enjoy it to the fullest extent and soak in every moment, because it passes in the blink of an eye, literally. Take mental snapshots of everything. Just soak it up. Just having all of your loved ones in one place to support you and your soon to be spouse. You guys just soak it up together. Take as many moments together as you can. It can be such a blur. Especially once the ceremony is done. I mean, the whole thing is really a blur, but especially once like the reception starts and it's loud and there's people everywhere wanting to talk to you. It's like chaotic, but just like take moments to do what is important to you, to be together, to just soak it up.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Don't stress about anything that could go wrong.
Let other
because
people
you've already
out.
done the planning. Yeah. Let other people figure it out. I remember our florists were super late and we're like,
some traffic.
Yeah. We're like, oh, you know what? Someone told us not to worry about it. We may not have flowers on the seats or like maybe not even our boutonnieres or bouquets, but it's like,
stuff.
Really, who's going to care? No one at your wedding is like, I can't believe she didn't have her bouquet.
Yeah.
Just say, you know what? I did the best I could. I'm not going to stress about it, and just enjoy that day.
They did
have the
get there
most
in
fun.
time,
Yeah, they did.
by the way. But yeah, I was kind of like, oh, are they going to get here? Are they not? Like, how bad is this traffic? But
just don't let it stress you out, because most people are not going to notice little minor things that happen. So
exactly. Like,
oh my gosh,
don't stress yourself out over little details that in the end you'll never think about again.
Yeah.
Like just don't even worry about it. Hopefully people around you will just make sure that you don't even know if anything's going wrong. We had a couple of things that went on that we didn't know about until later. And I was like, oh, okay, well, didn't end up affecting anything. So, oh well, like there's always going to be little mishaps. No wedding day goes 100% according to plan. There's always little things that come up, but they work themselves out. There's always solutions to those things.
Oh my gosh, we're so happy for you, Amy. That's going to be so exciting.
Yes.
Moving on, we have at Brooke the Merm, and she said, random childhood Disney memory that you've never talked about. Do you want to go first?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I don't have as many childhood Disney memories as he does, because I only went once or twice as a child. My parents, it just wasn't like a thing that we did, which is really sad. I kind of wish that we had done it more, but I had family that lived down near Disneyland. And every time we went down there, it was just kind of like to visit family. It was never like, I don't know. We were also we just didn't like want to spend on stuff like that. I guess my parents just didn't find the need. But once I got a little bit older is when I fell in love with it. But the time that I do recall going, I think I was about 6. And there is not many clear memories of it. The only thing that I remember really is that I was wearing this hat, this like denim bucket hat, basically.
Dude, you were ahead of your time.
I really was.
Gen Z.
I don't even know where that hat came from, to be honest, but it had a giant sunflower right on the front of it, and it had like my name stitched on it or something. And I wore that hat like every day because every time I wore it, somebody complimented me on it. And I remember I was like, I just have to wear this all the time so people can tell me how much they love it. So I wore it to Disneyland, and I believe I was meeting Snow White. I have a photo with Sleeping Beauty, but I think I was taking a picture with Snow White and talking to her, and she was like, "Are you Briar Sunflower?" And so that was like always something that just I always remembered ever since that time.
Having a princess notice your hat. Yeah, that's amazing.
Like, this hat is magic for sure.
I love that.
And it was just so special. So that's definitely like my biggest childhood memory, I would say.
I love that. Yeah. And then for me, I've talked about on the show before how not crowded it was when we used to go. And so me and my sister, you know, would just, like, my parents would be sitting outside and we would just run onto Thunder Mountain, get off, say hi to my parents, and then they'd just be like, go again if you want. And we would just keep going back and forth with like hardly any line. That was amazing. I've talked about that on the show before. I think what I haven't talked about on the show before was my parents would bribe us with toys for certain rides. So like California Screamin', they were like, okay, we'll literally buy you a stuffed animal if you go on it. And I think Tower, I don't know. But yeah, so bribes are like a big thing. And maybe it's not like the best like parenting thing. However, I loved the rides once I actually went on them. So I did get that, and I got a toy. So that was pretty cool. Win-win. Yeah, that's super fun. I'm trying to think. Another thing too that I remember was going on Haunted Mansion for the first time. Maybe not even the first time, but the first time I remembered. And I just closed my eyes the entire time. And you imagine things when your eyes are closed. And I was like, this is the scariest ride in the world, because you're not looking and you just hear all the sounds. And then way later, I opened my eyes and I was like, oh, this is not bad at all. Yeah. It was just the whole thing of like your imagination goes to the worst places.
When you're a kid, you're like, I have to just close my eyes because I don't know what I'm going to see if I keep them open.
And it sounds way more terrifying than it actually looks. Okay, and then one more. Sorry, this
you've got one.
I've got a lot.
So it's okay. Take up
when I was a kid, Space Mountain they closed and they made it like so much smoother. They did this huge renovation on the track and everything. I remember going with my dad. It was just me and my dad at this time because we were down there for a car show, but we did Disneyland one day, and they were doing like early access previews for Space Mountain. So I think like, I don't know, a couple weeks before it opened up. And I hadn't been on Space Mountain before, and then finally rode it for the first time during that trip. And it was just amazing that we like had early access, and it was like the new and improved Space Mountain. And it was just really cool to do that with my dad. Yeah. But let's jump in there's so many great questions. We want to keep talking, but we don't want to make a super long episode. So
it's already gonna be long, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're gonna kick it down. And I guess do you want to get the question, but I could get the answer perhaps. Okay. Unless you have one for the answer too.
Not really. I think what you said is probably what I would say as well. So the question came from @leopardprint_XX, who asked, if you could create a new ride, what would its theme be and what kind of ride?
Ooh, okay. So I'm going, if it was a movie, I've had this idea ever since I was a kid. I even like found an email address to Imagineering when I was a kid and told them this idea. I don't even know if it was the right email address. Imagineering@disney.com. I don't know what I was doing, but I've always thought a Lion King ride would be amazing with the same ride system as Indiana Jones or Dinosaur. So it feels like you're on a safari. Tone down the ride a little bit more so you could drop the height requirement. But I mean, literally, Lion King is one of Disney's best movies. Why not have an amazing dark ride adventure like Indiana Jones? And you just get to go through the movie. I think that'd be so, so cool. Now, if it's not a movie, if we're saying, we need a non-Disney IP ride, this is technically kind of within the Disney realm, but I would also love a dark ride, kind of like Spaceship Earth that goes through different years, right? But something similar that takes you through the history of Walt Disney's life. So probably a dark Omnimover ride. You see when he, was a kid in Marceline, Missouri. Then you go see when he first moved to LA. And, you know, when he was trying to get into the show business and he had many failures, then when he created Mickey Mouse and then movies and then ends with the creation of Disneyland. And I think that'd be so cool to like have a ride that is about the man who started it.
People would love that.
Yeah. They finally made a Mickey Mouse ride. And so now we need the creator of Mickey Mouse ride. I think that'd be awesome.
Oh, that would be so good, honestly, because everybody loves Walt. I mean,
they're forever grateful to him for
he created everything that we love. And to have a ride dedicated to him and like just seeing everything that he went through to get Disneyland created in the end. Yeah. Oh, that would be so good. But next question. We're getting towards the end. We got a couple left here. Next one comes from @Rox Lehman. Again, hope that is said correctly. Let us know if it's not. But her question is, how goes life with 2 kids? It's going pretty well.
I think we're in the groove now.
I think we've gotten into a good groove. There's always just ups and downs, and we're definitely learning that as we go. I think I had like a false idea of like it being very smooth in the very beginning because it was easier than I had kind of expected initially because a newborn sleeps a lot. Do too much, they pretty much eat and sleep, and you know, that was pretty much it. So it was easier to balance, and he was off work, so it was easier to like have both of us taking care of each kid, and it was going really smooth. And then, you know, there's things that hit, you know, sleep regressions and teething and
younger one learning to crawl, which means he's crawling to the older one's toys, and the older one
does not
know how to share
at all. Yeah. Not to mention our almost 4-year-old he's in the three-nager of three-nager phases of his life. He is he's putting us through it a little bit. Yeah,
but recently he's been doing a lot better. Hopefully, like as he's inching closer to 4, does it just magically get better at 4? I heard something. It was like almost everyone's like, "Oh, 3 is crazy," but I saw someone say like 4 to 5 is theirs now. Yeah. They're like they were perfect during the terrible 2s and the 3-nager, and now 4 to 5. Yeah, it's just insane. But I think he's getting out his little
challenges, I guess. So
for sure,
he's a sweetheart. Like we absolutely adore him. He's learning. He's trying to understand boundaries and, you know, why the answer is no sometimes. It's not something he enjoys at all.
And balancing, his independence with having a second boy, you know,
who's taking up a lot of the attention. And, you know, we try to do our best at making sure that they each are getting their like dedicated attention and time and stuff. But it's hard. It's really hard, especially because, you know, one of us is working. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I am with them both all day, every day. And it's hard definitely to like kind of get that dedicated time. And I can tell when one of them is needing more of that. So it's hard to break it up, but you know, we're getting there, and it's definitely gotten easier to balance. And you know, they do adore each other. They're like so precious together. No one gets the baby laughing like his big brother does. Yeah. And it's like the cutest thing in the world to see. So
that's great.
Overall, we're loving it for sure. It's been a blast to add another little dude to the crew.
Yeah. And I think Roxanne has 2, I believe, as well, right? Yeah, I think 2. So I know we have talked about tips and stuff like that going from 1 to 2. So thanks for all of that in the past.
Passing it along.
Yeah, really means a lot. But we have one more quick one here. We heard from @the_park_hop dad. He said, do you have any other trip back to the parks planned yet? And so we actually ran into him and his wife and his family during our last trip. We were on our way to Club 33. So it's like a really quick, it was so weird to hear your name called out when you already feel awkward wearing like really nice clothes in the park. So we saw him for a little bit and we're like, hey, how's it going? Okay, our reservation's going. But next time we do have a trip planned, we definitely have to hang out. That'd be awesome. But do we have one yet?
Not technically.
No. Oh yeah, there's one. Some friends of ours are going in November.
I think, and they've like mentioned that we should go.
And we haven't gone during Christmas time in a long time. So I'm like,
so long. And I would love to go at Christmas again, especially with our kids. It would be so magical.
That'd be magical. Yeah.
But we have to kind of see if we can financially recover from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Because that's a mere like
Just a
not
few
even
months.
2 months. Like,
Yeah.
it would be like a month and a half after Hawaii if we did decide to do it. So I don't know if it's possible, but I hope it is because
Yeah, it would be amazing. I mean,
to go at Christmas time.
It had been a year when we went on this last trip. From the trip before that, yeah, she was pregnant.
Newborn.
But man, that trip like really reinvigorated. I mean, we love Disney no matter what, but like when we went this time, it was like,
it was
so hard to, yeah. And so now it's just like, I want to go back and experience it again.
Yeah.
So yeah, not necessarily yet, maybe November.
Yeah.
And if not, then hopefully very soon after that, because I miss it so much.
If not then maybe hopefully sometime in the beginning of the year. We'll see.
I know.
Fingers
I
crossed.
really wanted to go down there. One day we'll go to D23.
Yeah.
I wanted to go so bad, but it's just
love it.
it's just hard with kids when they can't be with. I mean, I guess you could take them, but yeah, no, that's going to be way too chaotic. So maybe one year we'll go to D23. It'd be so cool. I would love to do like a little listener meetup one day, you know, whether that's at D23 or just at the parks. I think that'd be so cool. But maybe we'll plan something like that in the future. Let us know if you'd be interested and we could try to do something. I don't know. I think that'd be so cool. Because we have amazing people that listen to our show. And we've talked to you guys, you know, on DMs and everything. And I'm like, I just want to meet everyone. It'd be so cool.
It would be.
But with that, look at this long episode. The last couple of ones were on the shorter end. So now we just had one big mega episode. Yeah.
Like an hour or more.
I know, probably. But we just want to thank you so much for all the love and support that you have given our show over the years. Thank you for these amazing questions.
Yeah.
We love you guys so much. And with that, I guess we'll see you guys next week for another episode of the Happiest Hour on Earth. See you then.
Bye, guys. See you then.